Hey, if you click this video, you're probably broke, or at least feel broke. But not just broke in the wallet, broke in the soul, broke in your energy, your focus, your hope. Let me just say this. This video isn't going to tell you to cut your $5 coffee. I'm not here to throw empty motivation at you. I'm not going to tell you to manifest wealth with good vibes and vision boards. And this video is definitely not going to sell you a dream, but it will snap you out of the one you've been stuck in. If you watch this to the end, I'm going to show you the truth that your bank, your job, and your broke friends won't. So here's how I'm going to break this down for you, step by step. I'm going to walk you through 3 phases, not fluff, not theory, but a real roadmap. Because if you're stuck right now, tired of worrying about bills, tired of feeling like your life is in financial quicksand, you don't need another motivational quote. You need a full-on mental jailbreak. And that's what I'm here to give you. First, I'm going to start with what's really keeping you broke. And I promise, it's not just you don't budget enough. It runs deeper. It's hidden in the way you were trained to think, believe, and behave around money. Stuff you don't even realize is running the show. Then I'm going to show you how to rewire your brain, not just to survive, but to actually build wealth. Because right now your mind is probably running on survival mode, and you don't even know it. We're going to fix that. Most importantly, I'll give you tactical steps, stuff you can do right now. Even if you've got £0 in your account, debt collectors blowing up your phone, and no financial safety net. These are real steps that build momentum fast. I'm not here to play guru. I'm here because I know what it feels like to be stuck, broke, and looking for a way out. And I want to give you what I wish someone gave me. So stay with me, because once this clicks, once you see it, you'll never be broke the same way again. So if you're interested in this, then you're in the right place. Welcome to Flourish in Wealth, where financial freedom begins. The number one reason you're broke is this: you're playing a game you didn't design. You were born into someone else's blueprint. From day one, you've been fed this script. Go to school, get good grades, land a job, work hard, save a little, retire at 65. And the worst part, you followed that script. Or maybe you're still trying to. But somehow it's not adding up. You're stuck in a cycle. Work, stress, bills, repeat. And you're wondering, what am I doing wrong? Here's the truth nobody told you. You're not broken, the system is. The game changed, but the instructions didn't. Inflation eats your paycheck before it even hits your account. A degree costs more than a house, and it guarantees nothing. And saving? That's adorable. If your rent isn't swallowing 80% of your income, you're not lazy, you're not stupid, you're just playing a game that was never designed for you to win. And here's what's crazy. Most people don't even realize they're playing it. They think, if I just try harder, it'll work. But what if the board is tilted? What if the rules were meant to keep you working just hard enough to survive, but never break free? That's the setup. 2, you inherited a mindset you didn't choose. Not only were you handed a broken game, you were given a broken mindset to go with it. Think about the stuff you grew up hearing. We can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. Just be grateful you've got a job. You didn't choose those beliefs. They were installed in you like software running in the background. And here's why that's dangerous. If you grow up believing that wanting more is bad, or that money is evil, or that rich people must have cheated someone, then guess what? Every time you get close to more, your brain will push it away. It'll sabotage opportunities. It'll convince you that aiming higher is risky. It'll whisper, "Who do you think you are?" And you'll believe it. Not because it's true, but because it's all you've ever known. 3, your brain is stuck in survival mode. Now here's the twist most people don't talk about. When you've been broke long enough, when you've had to count coins for gas, when every bill gives you anxiety in your chest, your brain changes. It shifts into what's called scarcity mode. Now, instead of thinking about the future, you're just trying to get through today. You're not planning to build, you're just trying not to sink. And when your brain is in that mode, fight or flight, it can't think creatively. It can't focus on building wealth, it just wants to survive. And survival mode doesn't care about growing your net worth, it only cares about getting through this week. So when someone says, start a side hustle or invest $100, your brain is like, no way, I just need to pay rent. Why? Because building requires space, it requires planning, patience, creativity, but survival mode, it cuts all that off, it's pure reaction. Here's the example I always come back to. If you're drowning, are you thinking about swimming lessons? No. You're gasping for air. Same thing with money. When you're behind on rent or juggling debt collectors, your brain can't even process opportunities. It's just trying to breathe. That's not weakness. That's biology. That's survival wiring kicking in. But here's the catch. You can't grow from survival mode. That mode protects you from the storm. but it also locks you inside the shelter, even when the storm is over. If you're starting to feel that shift, that pull to think differently, do differently, head to the comments and say, "I'm finally free." This can be the start of something new. 4. Your environment is shaping you more than you think. Let's go even deeper. Even if you wanted to change your mindset, even if you saw the old game is broken, there's still one more problem. You're surrounded by people who are just as trapped as you are. Look around. What do your friends talk about? What do your parents believe about money? What happens when you say, "I want to start a business," or "I want to be rich"? Do they cheer you on, or do they laugh it off? Your environment has power. If everyone around you thinks money is hard, success is luck, and rich people are crooks, you're going to absorb that, even if you try not to. It's like being in a room full of smokers. You don't even light a cigarette, but you still walk out smelling like one. And the scariest part? You won't even notice it happening, until one day someone asks you why you haven't done more, and you realize you've been dragging around other people's limits like they're your own. 5. The worst part is this. The system profits from your confusion. The system we live in, it just runs better when you're broke and busy. Think about it. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're too tired to ask big questions. You're too drained to start a business. You're too overwhelmed to look into investing. They don't want you rich. They want you comfortable enough not to riot, but stressed enough not to break free. School taught you how to memorize dates and pass tests, not how to negotiate, invest, or build a business. Your boss doesn't want you to think like an owner. He wants you to keep clocking in. Even the media you consume, they sell you scarcity. They sell you fear. They sell you distractions. Meanwhile, the people actually getting rich, they understand the system and they're quietly playing a different game. So let's pull all of this together. You've been broke, not because you're weak, but because you've been walking through a jungle with the wrong map. A map made for a city that doesn't exist anymore. Now that you see that, you can stop blaming yourself. You're not the problem. The game was rigged, the mindset was inherited, the system was never built for you to win. But here's where the tide turns. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And now that you've seen the trap, you're no longer just a player. You're a builder. You're ready to create your own game. And that brings us to part 2. Now that you know what's really been keeping you broke, you're ready to rewire your brain for money. Not just survival. Because getting out of the hole isn't just about money. It's about changing how you think about money. We're about to start flipping switches in your mind that were set to survive and turn them to build, grow, and own. So take a deep breath. Shake off the guilt. You're not behind, you're just waking up. Let me say this up front. The way you think about money is more powerful than money itself. Because here's what most people don't realize. You can hand someone $10,000, but if their brain is still wired for survival, they'll lose it, spend it, burn it, and end up right back where they started. Money doesn't change the mindset. Mindset changes the money, and this is where the shift begins. All right, let's start with getting out of survival mode, because knowing you're stuck isn't enough. You need a way out now. First things first, you've got to stop trying to fix everything at once. That's what survival mode does. It makes you feel like you're drowning in problems. But here's the shift. Don't fix everything. Fix one thing. That's how you create space in your brain. Pay one overdue bill, cancel one subscription, sell one thing just to breathe. Once you do that, now we've got room to move. Next, your only goal is to build 1 week of breathing room. Not wealth, not perfection, just space. Flip something, offer a quick service. Even $200 can buy you peace of mind, and that peace, it rewires everything. Now from here, start asking different questions. Not how do I survive this week, but what skill do I have that someone would pay for? Because survival mode makes you blind to opportunity. And finally, build a simple rhythm. You don't need a 12-step plan. Track your money once a week. Block off 1 hour a day for your next move. Set one clear skill goal a month. Don't try to be perfect. Just stay in motion. Because once you stop reacting, that's when you start building. Let's keep going. You're not done yet. 2. Break the belief loop that's keeping you small. Let me crack something open real quick. Not your wallet. Your wiring. Because most people who stay broke, they're not just missing money. They're stuck in a loop they don't even know they're in. Most people carry this quiet voice in their head that says, "I'm not good with money. I don't know how to save. People like me don't get rich. Money stresses me out." Sound familiar? That voice isn't yours. It was downloaded into you from parents, culture, teachers, or even trauma. And here's how that voice traps you. You believe you're not good with money, so you act like you're not good with money, which gives you results that reinforce that belief. That's the loop. Belief leads to action, action leads to evidence, and evidence circles right back to belief. And unless you break that loop, you'll keep living in a story that isn't even yours. So here's the shift. Instead of saying, I'm not good with money, say, I'm learning how money works. Instead of, I can't afford that, ask, how can I afford that? It sounds small, but that tiny shift from final to flexible is everything. Next, change your identity. Let me ask you this. When you think of someone who's wealthy, what comes to mind? Is it someone shady, maybe selfish, or even out of touch? If so, your brain is going to protect you from becoming that. This is deep. I need you to get this. You will never become someone you secretly dislike. So if deep down you've been taught that wealth is evil, that rich people are cold or greedy, then your brain will block your progress on purpose. That's why this next shift isn't about action, it's about identity. Instead of thinking, I want to be rich, start with, I want to be free. Freedom is clean, it's personal, it doesn't carry guilt or judgment. Wealth is just a tool to buy that freedom. Once your identity shifts from someone trying to survive to someone learning to build wealth so I can live free, your brain stops fighting you. You stop reaching for change and start becoming the change. Rewire through repetition. Right, so here's where people mess up. They try to rewire their brain once and then quit when nothing changes. But your brain doesn't care what you do once. It cares about what you do repeatedly. Your thoughts are like a path in the forest. Walk that path enough times, it turns into a road. Stop walking it, it disappears. So if you want to rewire your thinking, you've got to practice the new thought until it becomes natural. Say it with me. I'm learning how to build wealth. I'm not stuck. I'm waking up. Money is a tool, not a threat. I can figure this out. Say it in the morning. Say it when you feel broke. Say it when fear shows up. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about building a new mental groove so your brain doesn't keep defaulting to fear. You also have to protect your input. If you keep hanging around people who say life is hard, money never comes easy, you're dreaming too big, then guess what? You'll believe it without even realizing it. Your brain is a sponge. What you feed it becomes your worldview. So start feeding it differently. Podcasts, books, YouTube channels that teach money like this one right here, and people who challenge your limits, not reinforce them. Even if you're broke right now, you can still surround yourself with rich thoughts. Change your input and your brain will follow. Last one in this phase, and it's big. Train your brain to see opportunity. Poor thinking brains are trained to see threats. Rich thinking brains are trained to see opportunities. Same world, two completely different lenses. When you're in scarcity mode, your brain filters the world like this. That won't work for me, I don't have enough. It's too risky. But when you start rewiring, your brain starts asking, what skill could I sell right now? Who's already doing what I want to do? What do I know that others would pay for? That's not toxic positivity, that's active thinking. The truth is, you've walked past more opportunities than you even know, but you weren't trained to see them. Until now. Now you're starting to notice things you missed before. Now you're starting to think like a builder, like an owner. And that's how you begin to shift from just surviving to actually building wealth. Next up is phase 3, tactical moves you can make even if you're broke right now. So now that your mind is waking up, and now that you're seeing the traps and breaking the loops, it's time to get your hands dirty. Up to this point, I've helped you see the trap and start rewiring your brain so you're not just stuck surviving. But now it's time for the practical moves. This is where it gets exciting because now you get to actually do something about it. This phase is all about traction, how to create forward motion even when you feel stuck, broke, and tired. Let's get into it. Let me just say this up front. You don't need money to start. What you need is motion. The number one lie broke people believe is, I need money to make money. That's just not true. You need leverage. You need value. You need to start right where you are. I'm going to walk you through 4 tactical moves that anyone, yes, even you, can start right now. No fluff, no hype, just practical, real-world shifts you can apply today. First, start with what you know and package it. You don't need a degree, you don't need a business plan, you don't need an LLC. What you need is this. What do you already know that solves a problem? Can you braid hair? Can you clean houses better than most? Can you edit videos, speak another language, tutor kids? Good, that's your start. Write this down. Skill leads to solve, which leads to serve, which leads to charge. Every dollar is tied to a problem being solved. Find one skill that helps somebody else avoid pain, save time, or get something done and offer it. Don't wait to be perfect. Start rough, improve as you go. Your first client doesn't need to see a polished version of you. They just need someone who can help. So don't ask, what's the best business to start? Ask, what problem can I solve with what I already know? You don't need capital, you need courage and a contact list. Build a survival-free side hustle. Now this is where people get stuck. They think a side hustle has to be flashy, viral, or techie. Nah, it has to be real. Ask yourself, what's one service I can do consistently that people already pay for? Think about things like pet sitting, grocery delivery, babysitting, freelance writing, data entry, local car detailing, resume writing, Canva design, social media management. These aren't sexy, but they're startable. They give you control over your time, your effort, your income. Your goal is to build a hustle that doesn't drain your soul just to keep you alive. You're building something that frees up mental bandwidth so you can breathe and think long term. Because once your basic needs are covered, that's when you stop panicking and start planning. Now that you're moving, the next tactical step is this. Pick one high-income skill and learn it like your rent depends on it, because it does. Look, jobs come and go, but skills pay the bills and they compound. Here are a few that work in 2025 and beyond. Copywriting, video editing, sales, UX and UI design, coding, even no-code platforms like Webflow or Framer, digital marketing, AI prompting and automation setup, email marketing, and personal brand content creation. These aren't get-rich-quick, you know. They're build income control forever. You can learn them online for free or cheap, honestly. YouTube, Udemy, Coursera, and many more. Here's the key. Don't browse, focus. Pick one and commit to 30 to 60 days of solid learning. Then start offering small services, then raise your rates, then build systems around it. That's how broke people build power. It's not overnight, but it's real and it lasts. Get paid to learn. That is the hidden shortcut, yeah. You don't need to wait until you're an expert. You can get paid while you learn. Here's how. Offer a beta version of your service to 2 or 3 people, cheap or even free. Tell them, hey, I'm just starting this. I'll give it my all. In return, I want honest feedback and a review. This is your low-risk entry into the game. From there, you improve, you build testimonials, you raise your prices. You can do this with, well, all sorts of things, like web design, virtual assistants, photography, resume editing, branding, and even fitness coaching. The shortcut isn't skipping the work. The real shortcut is starting before you feel ready, because honestly, you'll never feel ready. But every expert you admire once felt like an imposter too. Let's wrap this up. Here's how this all connects. You started this video feeling stuck, probably tired, maybe frustrated. But now you've seen the trap, you've rewired the lens, and you've got real, tangible moves to make, even if your account says $0. Let me make it plain. Your situation is real, but it's not final. You don't need perfect, you need motion. You don't need capital, you need clarity and courage. You already have what it takes. You've just been distracted, discouraged, and trained for the wrong game. That stops now. You don't have to be rich tomorrow. You just need to make your next move today. Even if that's watching this video again and taking notes. Even if that's offering a skill to someone in your contacts. Even if that's saying to yourself for the first time, I'm not staying broke. This wasn't just a video. Nah, it was a shift. If you made it to the end of this video, you're not like most people. Most people, they just scroll past transformation. You stayed, you watched, you shifted. Your life might still look the same right now, but the difference is you're not looking at it the same way anymore. And that's where everything changes. If you felt this in your gut, share it, save it. Watch it again. Don't let this be another video you forget by tomorrow morning. Let this be the moment you decided, I'm done just surviving, I'm building wealth, starting now. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and drop a comment below. And make sure to check out my other video here for more money tips. You won't want to miss it.